In order to tell that story, I turn to Evyatar Dor, the international sales manager of Lavi Furniture Industries.
Hi, good
Hi,
evening.
how are you?
I'm
Well, you're
doing
another kibbutz member. The previous one was also a kibbutz member in origin.
and
Eh,
actually we're neighbors. I just discovered. We
uh-huh.
were also located very close to Nazareth, between Nazareth and Tiberia.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
also
tell us a
growing up.
little bit about Lavi. You're located very close. You also have a great hotel and resort just nearby Tiberias. Tell us a little bit about the kibbutz.
Okay, so the kibbutz was established a year after Israel was established in 1949, mainly by Jews coming from the UK after being part of the Kindle transport.
Mm-hmm.
Kids that actually were born in Germany, Austria, and the rest of Central Europe, and were rescued to the UK before it was too late under Hitler governing. And the kibbutz is based on a hotel, very successful hotel, and the carpentry that I'm going to talk about in a second, and also some agriculture and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
The carpentry was established 60 years ago, actually, so it's a very established carpentry. It started off as a regular carpentry for the local members of the kibbutz. They just needed, a bed, a cupboard, a table for the room. But then a neighboring community that was just establishing their new synagogue came to this carpentry and asked them if they can build kind of a pew, a bench for them. And they created something that apparently was quite revolutionary. And since then, it's all history. The carpentry of Lviv already took part in over 6,000 synagogues around the world,
Wow.
from Tahiti to Melbourne and everywhere in between. So yes, we're very proud of doing what we're doing. Building a synagogue is, aside from the fact that it's very significant to the community and it's the beating heart of the community, it takes a lot of thinking and a lot of design and ergonomy, a lot of thinking about how a Jew is praying or davening, as we say in Yiddish. So we have this experience, and we're very proud in taking part in very significant synagogues around the world.
Mm-hmm. So, wow, 6,000, that's a very large figure.
Yeah,
I imagine many of those are in Israel. I imagine I've visited at least a few of those.
right.
But tell us about the special story of the synagogue in Liebach in northern Germany. I'll tell our audience that it is about 30 minutes from Hamburg and about 3 hours drive from Berlin. So it's pretty much in the
Correct.
north of Germany.
Correct. Okay, so the Lübecker synagogue, that is also called the Karlibach synagogue, was belonged to the Jewish community in Lübeck until very, very few years before Hitler got on power. The community there was a quite small community, and right before the 1933, they, maybe even a bit after, most of them moved to Hamburg, a bigger
Mhm.
community. And they actually, at a certain point, sold the synagogue to the local council of
Hmm.
Lübeck.
What we are seeing now is a picture of the original synagogue, the way it was
Right,
when it was opened at first,
right.
right?
It was
Hmm.
opened in 1890, something like
Hmm.
that. And it was a magnificent synagogue with a huge dome on top.
Hmm.
Very unique design, kind of like Spanish red and green arches, very, very unique and beautiful, very
Hmm.
typical to this time of architectural style.
Hmm.
And I think this is what saved the synagogue eventually, because when the Crystal Night happened, the council told the riots not to burn down the synagogue.
Hmm.
They did get in. They
Hmm.
did get in and destroyed everything inside. I think I even sent you one picture that you can see the broken rail
Hmm.
around the ladies' gallery on top. They
Hmm.
basically destroyed everything. Not only that, the German government didn't really like the idea that the dome is very beautiful and kind of, you know, overpowering the rest of
Hmm.
the buildings around, and they took it down. They
Mm.
also covered the front of the building in red bricks to kind of hide the nice appearance of the synagogue.
Uh-huh.
After former Soviet Union got,
Hmm.
apart, and Jews started fleeing from Russia and other countries to all over Europe. Germany welcomed a lot of Jews from Russian-speaking Jews from all over the Soviet Union, and a lot of Jews came to Lübeck too, and they started using the synagogue that was for many years abandoned. And
Hmm. So it was
after
actually a new community in an old building.
Correct. Actually, I can say that my wife's grandparents used to go to this synagogue
Really? Wow.
when they were kids. Yes, and then they came to Israel right before the Kristallite, so they were saved. But they remember very well the beauty of the synagogue. So the community started using the synagogue. A lot of its beauty, of course, disappeared, and it was covered with a lot of layers of paint, and it didn't look as it used to. And after several years, it started, I would say, not falling apart, but you could see it has to get some significant maintenance.
Mhm.
So they turned to the local council and the government, and they were willing to support financially. And there's a very nice architectural office very close to the Lübeck synagogue, and they won I would say, the tender, and now they're doing the renovation. They worked very, very hard to do the renovation because you had to basically reconstruct the synagogue. Um, I even saw how the six ladies with very, very gentle tools, almost like dentist tools, were peeling layers of the paint off the walls to reveal the original
Wow.
beautiful painting on the walls. So
Mhm.
they turned to us, to Lavi. We
Mhm.
have experience in reconstructing shuls. We did synagogues. We did it in the past, even in Toronto, in Canada, and they were very impressed by our work. And we had the merit to take part of this amazing project. And we sent our head planner and designer to go there, and to he really made a very interesting research to see how, what materials they used, and how they used to build it. And
Oh.
you can see here the dome on
Yeah,
top
so
of the
this is the new dome, right? The renovated dome.
Right. So this is not the dome, the external dome that I was
Of
talking
course.
about.
Hmm.
This is the on top of the holy shrine, the holy ark that we used
Hmm.
to have in a synagogue. So we basically rebuilt the holy ark, the main stage, the lectern.
Hmm.
We even tried, based on the black and white pictures, to
Hmm.
take our typical benches and to give them the right appearance.
Right.
Eventually, we shipped everything to Lübeck, but then,
How long did your team work on this project? It sounds like something very complicated.
right, so it took a lot of time. It took also the reconstruction of the actual building a lot of time.
Hmm.
The actual carpentry took, I would say, between 4 to 5 months, but the whole
Wow.
research and the planning
Hmm.
was way longer. We started off 2018, and only at the
Okay.
beginning of 2020, we shipped the goods.
Hmm.
Then they were ready to receive them. After they left Israel, coronavirus came all the way to Europe. And since then, everything is waiting, well wrapped and protected inside the synagogue,
Hmm.
waiting for us to come and assemble it and install everything.
So we only saw the pictures of the beforehand and the reconstruction, but we still don't have a picture of the end of how it looks reconstructed and used by the current new community
Right.
that is currently there. Okay, well, obviously, personally, I call upon all Jews to come to Israel, but since we have the community there, when will they see the synagogue reopening? Do you have any estimation?
So I hear that in Germany the situation is quite, I would say, mild compared to other European countries.
Mhm.
So they think that it's going to be opened quite soon. We have a problem because we have to send our people there, and
Right.
Israel is still quite closed to flights.
Hmm.
But this is, I have to say, this is our interest to see it coming into reality. I don't think less than what they wanted to see. Um, I have to say that we actually have members in the kibbutz that are grandchildren of the last rabbi of this synagogue. So they were really took very, very emotional and personal involvement in this project, and I think this is something that we all take a lot of pride in.
Hmm.
Um, you
Yeah,
know, it's
well, it sounds like the carpentry work you're doing is very emotional anywhere you do it.
I would say it's very easy to identify with what I sell. Something that I believe in. I enjoy it.
Hmm.
It's actually very interesting to meet communities, Jewish communities in Israel and outside of Israel, all over the world. See how they, their specific style, their behavior, their trends,
Hmm.
the DNA of every community, and it's beautiful to see how Jews all over the world have the same DNA, with
Hmm.
the slight changes.
Right.
It's really interesting.
And I do want to just to show you the last picture of the Holy Ark, the Torah Ark that we've seen. It's not from that synagogue. This not this one, the other one, the actual Ark, the actual Torah Ark, is actually in Jerusalem, in the western, in near the Western Wall. Is that correct?
Right. So we took part in many, many synagogues around Israel and also in Jerusalem, obviously. By the way, happy Yerushalayim Day. This
Of
is our
course.
day of celebration,
Mm-hmm.
the 53rd year of the
Exactly.
reuniting of the Yerushalayim. So we're very,
Uh-huh.
very happy today.
Of course we are.
Um, right. So we had the merit to do several arcs and seats in small synagogues that are in the tunnels
Mm-hmm.
parallel to the Western Wall.
Mm-hmm.
Actually,
They're
they're kind
actually the continuation of the wall, but it's not outdoors, it's indoors.
it's
Mm-hmm.
right. It's underground because above
Mm-hmm.
it there are neighborhoods of people of residents. There are people
Mm-hmm.
living there, and
Mm-hmm.
actually the whole thing was excavated and revealed. So yeah, that was part of what we were very happy to take part in.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, not far away from there, there's a very famous synagogue called the Churva,
Of
a
course.
synagogue that was destroyed
This
during the War of
of
Independence.
independence in 1948. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Right, and only recently, I think less than 10 years ago, it was reconstructed with a
Right.
very famous arch. And today you can climb up on its roof and see the whole
Mm-hmm.
four quarters of the ancient Yerushalayim. Very nice to see.
So you have done the
So we
Churvat.
took part also, right. Not
Mm-hmm.
everything, of course, but
Yes. Uh-huh.
part of,
A
yeah,
beautiful place, by the way, and great view. Anyone who visits Jerusalem must go there and check it
correct,
out. Hmm.
correct. Yeah, it's actually very nice to come and see, and I invite everyone to come to Lavi because Lavi has a lot to offer. One of the things is our tour guides, like
Hmm.
guided tours that we have in the carpentry every day at 11 a.m. So please be our guests. And also the hotel that you were talking about. For Jews, it's a glad kosher hotel. It's very hard to find something like that up in the north, so it's very
Hmm.
attractive. And for the Christians, it's actually on Jesus Trail, so you can
Yeah.
actually pass through the kibbutz and go continuing towards Yerushalayim and Tiberia and the Sea
There
of
is.
Galilee,
Hmm.
and it's a very nice area to see.
Yeah.
So you're
Beautiful
all
location, beautiful views of the Galilee.
right,
Just a great location.
correct.
Well, I just want to, on the note of the Day of Jerusalem, want to say that hopefully we'll also live to see a synagogue on Temple Mount itself one of these
Amen.
days.
I
Evyatar,
volunteer to build it.
sorry?
I volunteer to build it.
Oh, yeah. Evyatar Do, International Sales Manager of the Lavi Furniture Industries, thank you so much for joining us today.
It was a pleasure.